Hello, my fellow Lagoonians, and welcome back to the Lagoon. It's Gill-boy here, and I have a really awesome comic book review video for you today. So why don't you come on down, get you a drink and some snacks, and we're going to review an awesome, epic Batman comic, Batman issue 234. That's right, the iconic issue of Two-Face's first appearance in the Silver Age of comics. So let's all get the Gill gloves on and open up this beautiful comic and take a look at it and review it and discuss the awesomeness of the Batman mythos.
All right, here it is. As you can see, it's in pretty good condition. If I'm not mistaken, this is about not necessarily near mint, but it's definitely a 9 point. I think the lowest it would be is a 9.5. I might actually send this off to get graded, but I don't really believe in graded comics. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that it's cool, but I don't see the point of sealing away a comic book forever. I believe comic books should be read. But this is a beautiful piece of Batman history as well as American art history and pop culture history. So let's all go and take a gander and open this bad boy up, right? So we can see here, DC Batman, bigger and better, only 25 cents. Yeah, I bet. Batman with Robin, the Teen Wonder, the return of Two-Face, twice as evil, twice as dangerous. This is a perfect comic to read here at the Lagoon, by the way. But let's not waste any more time, and let's open up this bad boy and check out one of the most iconic Neal Adams comics of all time. Soon, my parents are dead. All right, got the Gills gloves on. Now, let's take a look at this bad boy. So, I know what probably a lot of you are saying. Gill-boy, how could this be the first appearance of Two-Face in the Silver Age if this came out in August 1971, when that's kind of past the Bronze Age? Well, stop asking too many questions or I'll have to fucking kill you. No, to be joking aside, it's kind of weird, the periods in comics, like what's considered Silver Age and what's considered Bronze Age. Yeah, there are like set times between each periods, but for the most part, it's not necessarily solidified, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, this time period in the 70s is the Bronze Age. However, it's still also a part of the Silver Age. It's confusing. It's kind of minutia. It's kind of splitting hairs. So we won't go into it because it causes a lot of nerd arguments. But for the most part, the consensus is this is the first appearance of Two-Face in the Silver Age because it's still part of the Neal Adams Silver Age run, although we are in the Bronze Age. So, anyways, what can we say here? Half an Evil, right? Story by Denny O'Neil, art by Neal Adams and Dick Giordano, and edited by Julie Swartz. I mean, we're met with the master himself, Neal Adams, one of the best gothic horror, gothic hero artists of all time. I mean, his Conan work is also really good as well. And then, of course, honorable mention, shout out to Bernie Wrightson. I think he's the only one that really rivals Neal Adams within the gothic horror, kind of gothic superhero genre. Because let's not forget that Bernie Wrightson did some amazing Swamp Thing stuff. But anyways, we're here to talk about Neal Adams and his amazing, amazing Batman run. I mean, that is just so awesome. I wish I could get a cutout of this and hang it up here at the Lagoon. But let's just go ahead here. It says, "It is hushed here. The only sounds are the muffled murmurings of swamp beast and the gentle lap of water against grassy banks, and the only signs the gaunt shape of an ancient vessel and the awesome figure of the dread Batman. But be not deceived by the serenity There is danger in this peaceful place, mystery and the shadow of death, for here lurks half an evil. Yeah, this is really, really, really beautiful. So let's go ahead. Turn that page. And then, what do we have here? It looks like Tim Burton must have read this comic book. And we could see Soups in the background there, and kind of like a Godzilla. And, of course, Donald Duck. And what does that say? Janice Hot Dogs, doubly delicious. Get some awesome clowns. And what's that, Condiment King? No, it's just Mustard Girl. And then, look at that. It's just so awesome, right? And how goofy is it? Like, the reason why Two-Face wants this is because it says doubly delicious, you know? It's just so awesome. Then we get that. The night, a familiar shape appears on the starless night sky. A silent call for the Batman. Then here comes Batman. This is my favorite part of the comic, I think. Well, one of my favorite parts. He's like, well, I hope he shows up. That's all. I'm tired of his meddling in city affairs. I may decide to see how tough he really is. And Arthur Reeves left, followed by a Reeves right. I'll take him down a peg or two. Oh, boo. Runs out Commish, trying to not laugh his ass off as he flees in terror. Just want to say what a cool coincidence that one of the mayor's name is Reeves, and Matt Reeves has given us an amazing Batman film, and I really cannot wait for the Batman 2. And how fitting for his sequel to have the first appearance of his Two-Face. And I think it's going to be a really cool version of the character. But anyways, just look at all of this. Like, I mean, it's just so awesome. That's so cool. I like how Batman's like, I got my own ride. You know, yeah, see you later, Gordon. And, you know, I guess you could say, you know, it is kind of weird that this is Two-Face and he's fighting clowns, because that's definitely more Joker. But you have to understand, you know, this is really just remarkable penmanship as well as line. I like the shadings here that Neil gives us. And I like that it's clowns, because it kind of shows how, like, Two-Face here hiding in the corners, you know, maybe trying to mislead Batman by thinking it is Joker. But we all know that it's really, really, really Two-Face. So let's go ahead. First of all, they don't make badass ads like this in comics anymore. Look how cool that is. That's just like 100% Gill-boy right there. But anyways, at that moment in a shack near Gotham City docks, you got it. The diary. Yeah, only my buddy nabbed. That's very unfortunate for him. It's no concern of mine, however. This is the important thing. This writing, a cipher expert I met in prison, told me there is, in these pages, the code clue to a fortune. And I have the key to the code, but will I use it? Will I actually commit the crime? That is for the coin to decide. Which face will it show? Which side? The whole or the ruined? Of course, we already know it's going to be the ruined. Dun, dun, dun. The coin has decided. The evil part of my nature wins, and so Two-Face must strike. So badass. And then, you know, Alfred hanging out with Bruce, Master Wayne. And he's like, don't you remember, Alfred, how he got acid thrown on his face? Now he became Two-Face. Me and Robin had a fight on top of the Gotham clock tower. So cool. So cool. Then he's like, then he got plastic surgery and was fine. And then he was gung-ho and trying to stop bad guys. And then boom. And it just so happened to burn his face. And so now he's like, the plastic surgery. It's all been undone and it can never be repaired. This time, I'm doomed to remain Two-Face forever. Two-Face forever. Like Batman Forever. Kiss from a rose on the grave. You in my heart, my heart in my hand. Baby, I can feel it for the heat from the road. That's what he's listening to in the car. Man, they're like, is that Seal? And they're like, oh my God, no, it's Batman. Attacks him. So cool. Look how badass this is. Hell yeah. And then we get finally to like the docks here. And I like how he's just like, we'll have to figure it all out. And then this dude's all like passing out. And then we come back full circle to where we're at. Just look at, just so cool, man. Just love this, dude. So beautiful. So beautiful. And then, of course, Two-Face in his scuba diving outfit, huh? You know? And then there he goes. Batman doesn't hear him and he gets freaking knocked out. And this is the best part of the book right here. It's like quickly, the wet-suited criminal produces a length of wire rope and and begins lashing the Caped Crusader to a mast. I was sure the Batman would take a hand, so I hid in the ship's hold, breathing with an oxygen mask. Groggy, but not out. I've got to expand my muscles, prevent him tying line tightly. Don't pretend you're not aware, old foe. I want you to see how you'll die. Ugly, you'll die ugly as the accident that made me a freak. It's like light and a stogie. I put a hot ember to the balloon which held this go afloat once, and for the second time, whoosh. And while the gas escapes, I smash away this molding. Ha ha! Behold, a fortune in gold comes spilling. Gold. What does that say? Gold bubballoons? Just a Captain Bye's diary promised. Having filled his sack, Two-Face whirls to a lifeboat, and within moments, the scow will have sunk, taking a Batman with him. Not only me. Look up in the rigging. Are you going to let him drown, an innocent old man? His misfortune, Batman, and no concern of mine. You always prided yourself on being as good as you are evil. Was your pride a mere pose? Quiet, Batman. My decision is final. Once more, Captain Bye's schooner settles, water creeping rapidly up its hull. Two-Face tries to ignore it, but can't. Reluctantly, he removes the double-headed coin and from his pouch, flips it, and ding! Oh, good side. Goes back. Batman, you're free? I might have known. I wasn't difficult. I expanded my muscles while you were rowing me. By contracting them, I got enough slack to slip out of the knots. Do you want to surrender? Never, the coin dictated. I saved the old man. You remain my enemy. Bang! And thus it ends, perhaps. I like how Batman's like, do you even lift, bro? He's like, do you even lift, Harvey? You know what's so interesting about you, Two-Face, is that there's only one of you. How can that be if you're Two-Face? Yeah. And that's pretty much it for the whole Two-Face storyline. And then we get the letters here, and it's kind of cool. And then you get another story here, but it's like a Batman and Robin story. Well, actually, I think this one is just the Robin story first, right? Which is kind of cool. And we'll just kind of look at that. Look at this awesome art, right? And then eventually, I think this turns into then a Batman and Robin story. But first, we start all solo with the Boy Wonder. And man, this is so 70s. It's so cool. And then it basically, again, look how awesome these ads are. The folk box, how to play folk guitar. All these cool stuff to buy. Yeah, Robin with his, his little staff there that we even see in Arkham City, right? It comes back all the way to the 70s. So it's basically him fighting the outcast society, which is kind of cool. And then you get some more cool, like, take a giant step, House of Secrets. I want to start really collecting that, but I'm going to finish up my Batman collecting first. Now you get a Batman and Robin, Trail of the Talking Mask. And, it just gets just really kind of cool. So, like, this was a big comic book for back then, You get your money's worth, basically. Totally wish I paid 25 cents for it. Because if I had 50 cents, I could have bought two of them, right? But, yeah. And then you get part 2. So it's like broken up into 2 stories here. And I don't think Neil Adams is drawing this one. But it's still cool nonetheless. And again, you get those awesome horror ads and all of that stuff. And unfortunately, this is coming to the conclusion of looking at this iconic comic, right? I mean, it's just awesome. And you get some kind of like criminal identification to help you become a, expert. And then a little more ads there. And then, of course, fly your own 747 jumbo depth for $2.95. And you get that. Yeah, man. Pretty cool comic. I wanted to show it off. I just really think this is one of the coolest comic books of all time. Hang on one second. I'm going to take a little break here and put this back in its bag and board. One sec. There we go. All bagged and board and all nice and secured. I have to say, man, I remember being at a Comic-Con and Neil Adams was like maybe 12 feet away from me. Maybe it was more. Yeah, it was about maybe 9 or 10, 12 feet away from me, right? And this guy had this comic and he had it propped up and he was asking for a lot of money for it, and I was so tempted to get it, and I couldn't afford it, and I couldn't afford the other Joker Neil Adams that I've already reviewed. But I found that iconic issue with Ra's al Ghul, and the guy gave me a discount because I think he knew I was trying to get a comic for Neil to sign, but I just couldn't afford it, and he gave me a pretty good deal on it. But I remember waiting in line and seeing this and the Joker and the one that I got signed. And I just was like, man, one of these days I'm going to get this comic right. And then I'll have Neil sign it. And unfortunately, we all know that he, tragically passed, right? But he left an everlasting impression on comic book industry and the Batman mythology as a whole, right? And I can't recommend this comic book enough. I mean, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Anything Neil Adams Batman is going to be a 10 out of 10. I mean, I don't care what kind of issue it is or whatever. It's just, you're going to have a good time, and it's just so cool to finally have this for my collection. It was a birthday gift for myself, and I'm just totally ecstatic that my girl got me the complete set of Batman Year One, which I plan to review very soon. I am going to probably do another comic book review, showing off another Neil Adams. And then we'll move into Batman Year One and probably a Grant Morrison Batman. And then after that, I think we'll move on to some other cool, exciting comics that I want to show you guys, like maybe some Morbius comics, kind of go hang out with some Marvel, and also maybe some Dynamite comics, like some of my Red Sonjas, and some of my Dark Horse comics like my Hellboys and my Conans. We have so much in store for you here at the Lagoon pertaining to comic books. But yeah, so let's come this way. And we're going to go into the nerd closet and set this bad boy here. But yeah, got a whole box full of X-Men. You guys have already seen this box with my Fantastic Four. And I got a Doctor Strange box full of awesome Doctor Strange here. And then this Red Goblin box. Unfortunately, doesn't have any Red Goblin, but it's got some rare stuff in it. My Doctor Doom box has more Spidey, Morbius stuff. And then I have my Conan box full of Conan stuff here. And then this is a bunch of stuff that's going to be needed to be bagged and board for future videos. But for the most part, I got to put this by. He goes in here. This is where all my awesome Batman stuff is. But I have a lot in store for you guys, and I really can't wait to continue to show off these awesome comic books, my collection. I have a lot of passion for comics. It's just so much fun, to collect, and it's a good feeling when you get
get the comics that you want and find them in really decent condition. But anyways, I think that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I didn't want to talk about James Gunn, but now I'm starting to get pissed off. But we're not going to go in the garage. We're gonna go in the garage in another video and talk about that piece of shit hack. For anyways, stay salty, stay spooky. I'll see you all later this week playing some more Dark Souls, and we're getting close to returning to Drangleic with Dark Souls 2. So until then, just remember, if there's anybody that flips a coin, you gotta end him. Batman signing off. Bye, everybody. Love you all. Peace out.